Stop looking at the scale. It is lying to your face. Every single morning you step onto that cold piece of plastic, staring down, begging the digital display to hand you a smaller number. And when it doesn't move, you feel that familiar knot of failure in your stomach. You think you're doing something wrong. You think the starvation isn't working. You are completely, hopelessly blind to the brutal, invisible war raging under your own skin. Your body doesn't just lose weight. That's a fitness industry fairy tale. Your body consumes it. It cannibalizes its own biological tissue to survive the localized famine you've violently forced upon it. You are looking for a mathematical drop on a machine while entirely missing the physical decay of your own anatomy. Listen to me very carefully. I am going to walk you through the 5 visceral, undeniable signs that your body is actively eating its own fat in the shadows. We are going to strip away the mainstream lies and look at the raw, unforgiving science of cellular survival. And I warn you, wait until you hear the horrifying deception happening at number 1. By the end of this countdown, you will realize that your fat cells aren't just energy. They are parasitic entities fighting for their lives. And they are currently deceiving you. Let's descend. Number 5. The blueprint of shadows. The fitness industry has conditioned you to believe that fat loss is just a process of shrinking. Like a balloon slowly letting out air, it isn't. It is a violent excavation. To understand what is happening, you have to understand what fat actually is. It is not just dead weight. Subcutaneous fat is a living, breathing organ. It is a thick, protective blanket of lipids, woven with blood vessels and nerves, designed to separate your fragile internal architecture from the hostile outside world. When you stop feeding yourself enough calories, your body panics. It realizes no rescue is coming. So it begins to mine these subcutaneous reserves. It physically tears apart the triglyceride molecules stored under your skin to keep your heart beating and your lungs expanding. As this thick layer is systematically drained and destroyed, you don't just look better, you become transparent. Look down at your forearms right now. Look at the back of your hands. Look at your lower abdomen. Do you see those faint, bruised-looking blue lines pushing aggressively against the surface of your skin? That is the structural blueprint of your vascular system being violently exposed to the light. As the fat cells are hollowed out, the skin has nothing left to rest on. It collapses inward. It wraps tightly around the veins and the fascia like industrial shrink wrap encasing raw meat. You stare at the mirror, frustrated that your waist circumference hasn't dropped this week. But underneath the fabric of your shirt, your blood vessels are fighting for space. They are transforming into bulging, pressurized highways of survival in a body that firmly believes it is slowly starving to death. You are literally watching your own anatomy unveil itself. But do not mistake this superficial exposure for victory. Seeing your veins is merely a cosmetic prelude. The real horror is the systemic shutdown happening deep within your core. Number 4. The thermal collapse. You are freezing. Not just a slight, uncomfortable chill. I am talking about a deep, bone-rattling frost that refuses to go away. You are sitting in a perfectly climate-controlled room. The ambient temperature is 72 degrees. Your friends are comfortable. They are wearing t-shirts. You are shivering in a heavy hoodie. Why? Because your body is a ruthlessly efficient, ancient survival machine, and it has just initiated its triage protocols. Millions of years of evolution have taught your biology one brutal lesson. When food disappears, winter is usually coming. Fat is not just stored energy, it is your biological thermal jacket. It is the armor protecting your vital organs from environmental death. When you force your body into a caloric deficit, forcing it to literally eat its own armor, you are stripping away that insulation, layer by bloody layer. Your autonomic nervous system senses this critical loss of thermal defense, and it makes a cold, calculated, unforgiving decision. It decides that your extremities do not matter. Blood flow is violently restricted from your hands. Your fingers turn pale. Circulation is choked off from your feet. The capillaries on the surface of your skin are clamped shut. The body forcefully hoards all the warm, oxygen-rich blood in your chest cavity, locking it inside your torso to keep your heart, your liver, and your lungs from catastrophic failure. You aren't just feeling cold. That is a dangerous understatement. You are experiencing a state of controlled, localized hypothermia. Your body is deliberately sacrificing your physical comfort and the tissue health of your limbs for its own biological survival. You are freezing from the inside out because the furnace has run out of fuel, but physical cold is just a neurological signal. It is easy to ignore if you have willpower. What happens to your physical architecture next is a mechanical reality you cannot escape, and it is what makes weak people quit entirely. Number 3, the structural shrinkage. For your entire life, you have lived inside a padded cell of your own making. Your joints, your levers, your biological pulleys, they have all been cushioned by a thick layer of adipose tissue. It acted as a shock absorber against the physical world. Now, as your body aggressively metabolizes its lipid reserves, that soft padding is being violently dissolved. You are coming face to face with the sharp, unforgiving edges of your own skeletal frame. You sit in a hard wooden chair, and it physically hurts. You roll over in bed, and you feel the raw, mechanical friction of your knees grinding against each other. You bump into a door frame, and instead of a soft bounce, it's a jarring, bone-bruising impact. Your clothes start to drape differently, not because you've magically lost weight, but because the architectural volume of your body is collapsing inward. Your shirts become oversized shrouds for a physical version of you that has been completely eradicated. You are forced to feel the raw, mechanical reality of your own joints, ribs, and hip bones interacting with the environment. It is incredibly uncomfortable. It is a harsh, daily reminder that your body is shrinking its physical footprint in the world. And yet, despite this physical degradation, your brain does something entirely unexpected. Something purely predatory. Number 2, the neurochemical sovereignty. The hunger stops. For the first few weeks, your stomach was a torture chamber. It screamed for glucose. It sent agonizing signals to your brain, begging you to eat. And then, suddenly, nothing. A cold, hollow clarity takes over. You wake up at 5 a.m. without an alarm clock. Your focus becomes razor sharp. You feel an aggressive, almost dangerous surge of nervous energy coursing through your veins. Fools think this is just them getting used to the diet. They think it's a sign of willpower. They are wrong. This is an ancient, evolutionary fail-safe kicking in to keep you from dying. When the human body realizes that no more food is coming, that the famine is real, hunger becomes a useless, lethal distraction. Whining for food wastes energy. So, your brain steps in and forcefully shuts down the ghrelin receptors, the specific hormones responsible for making you feel hungry. In its place, it floods your entire nervous system with a toxic, highly potent cocktail of norepinephrine, adrenaline, and cortisol. You are no longer a grazing animal looking for a casual snack. You have been chemically rewired into an apex predator. Your body is giving you a massive injection of synthetic, survivalistic energy for one reason and one reason only: so you can hunt. It is a state of biological euphoria. You feel invincible, not because you are healthy, but because your anatomy is demanding that you use this temporary, godlike focus to secure a kill before you starve to death. Enjoy the high while it lasts, because this neurochemical rush is deliberately blinding you. It is distracting you from the most horrifying deception your body is pulling right under your nose. The real reason the scale hasn't moved in a month. The brutal secret at number 1. Number 1. The parasitic illusion. You step on the scale. The number is exactly the same as it was 2 weeks ago. You scream in frustration. You look in the mirror and see no change. You eat a whole pizza because you think the diet failed. You don't understand the microscopic anatomy of a fat cell. When your body finally breaks down a triglyceride molecule to burn for fuel, the fat cell, the adipocyte, does not just disappear. It panics. It is desperate to maintain its structural integrity. It is an entity waiting for you to fail. It is waiting for you to binge so it can immediately refill its reserves. So, as the fat is burned away, the cell violently sucks in water to replace the lost mass. Your fat cells are literally drowning themselves to keep their shape. This is the squishy fat phase. Your stomach might feel softer, looser, jiggly, like a water balloon trapped under your skin. You haven't stopped losing fat. You have lost it. The fat is gone, but your body has masked the victory with a temporary flood of water weight, acting like a desperate parasite clinging to its territory. The scale is measuring the water. It is laughing at your ignorance. And then, the collapse. Overnight, when your stress hormones finally drop and the fat cells realize no food is coming, they surrender. The cellular structure implodes. The water is forcefully flushed from your system. You wake up, step on the scale, and you are suddenly 4 pounds lighter in a single morning. The fitness industry calls it the Whoosh Effect. It wasn't magic. It wasn't the detox tea you drank. It was the delayed collapse of a microscopic empire you destroyed weeks ago. You were winning the entire time. You just didn't know how to look at the battlefield. The world isn't what you see on TV, and your body isn't what you see on the scale. Subscribe if you want the truth. Goodbye.